Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles, compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles, go take care of your business. Success Chronicles, it's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker, man, coming to you with a hangout and highlight session today. So excited to be here with my guy, Coach James Thomas, Coach JT, great guy. Man, blessed and fortunate to do some really neat things. Makes a huge difference in the education coaching profession. And so I'm excited to have him on and highlight his journey and share some nuggets from him today. So, Coach, man, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with the Success Chronicles.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here. I know that you are blow up waiting, as they like to say. It's an honor to be here and kind of tell my story and just kind of be able to, just kind of talk a little bit, catch up.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. Just as I heard you say that, what comes to mind for me, what comes to heart for me is relationships, right? Like you never know when you cross paths with people how beneficial that's going to be for you down the road, based off of the relationships and the bond that you have. And man, we've been blessed to connect, a long time ago in coaching. And man, I'm grateful that the big man has allowed us to cross paths because, love your journey, love what you do, love what you're about, man. And I appreciate the support that you've given me over the years, man. So I'm excited. So let's dive into it, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, so tell us about, who you are, track your journey a little bit so people know who is Coach JT.
I was born in the Piney Woods, East Texas, in Palestine,
Hmm.
but I grew up in, my family is from Lufkin. So that's, kind of football and sports was in our DNA. We moved to Houston at a young age. So I grew up there. I went to school in Fort Bend, played at Fort Bend Marshall, was the first starting quarterback in school history. We opened the doors, played for Dennis Brantley, who was actually my next door neighbor as well. So
Wow.
kind of grew up under him. Then I went out and played at the University of Texas at El Paso under Mike Price. Played a season up in the IFL, up in Tri-Cities, Washington. Then after that, man, came back home, got to work a little bit, and was feeling that itch to coach. Did a volunteer year, and then after that, man, made it official. Started off at Fort Bend Elkins, coached there for 6 years under my head coach, mentor Dennis Brantley. Had stints as an offense coordinator, defense coordinator for him. Then me and my family decided to make the move up north into the DFW. So coached 4 years at Mansfield Legacy High School. And stints as an assistant head coach, recruiting coordinator. And then from there, transferred over to Midlothian Heritage. Last year was my first year as the head track and pass game coordinator for football. So it's been a good year heading into year two and just trying to get things going.
That's awesome, man. Such a cool journey. Again, as I heard you, in your journey, you mentioned your head coach, which was integral, not just in your high school career, but in several phases of your
Yes.
career, and so man, I always say opportunities bring opportunities. And just like I talked about with the relationship piece, opportunities are the same way. When you show that you're capable and you're hardworking and people can depend on you, like you were as a guy growing up, people will reach out to give you opportunities later down the road. Speak on that a little bit if you don't mind.
Man, I think it's crucial. I think it's real crucial. Like I said, man, our relationship started like if I just go all the way back to my head football coach, man, he was started out he was my quarterback coach. He was the next door neighbor. He was a father figure. I had a dad that wasn't an absent dad. He was a working dad. He was a guy that drove trucks, was always out on the road, constantly gone. And I had a lot of mentors through the avenue of sports growing up. Man, My mom would take me to everything. She was at every single game. My early years, basketball and baseball and football, Coach James Moore. He did a lot of things for me, man, and raised me up. And he just kind of passed the baton to Dennis Brantley once he hit high school. And man, just the way he was able to, for God to put him in my life and for me to learn a lot from him, the quarterback position, how to be a great Christian man, how to be a family man, how to be a husband, how to be a father. Learned a lot from him, man, and truly, truly appreciate him. So he's a legend in itself. Has the state record in the 110 hurdles. Goes to the state track meet every year. He's a legend. Went to awards with O.J. Simpson. Man, any chance I get to give him his flowers and let people know
Yeah.
more about Dennis Brantley, I want to make sure I do that because he's impacted a lot of lives and coached a lot of great guys that's gone on to do great things. And just being in those relationships, man, just meeting different people and meeting different coaches such as yourself, man. Who would have thought? We'll go work at a camp at Texas A&M football, and man, so many great guys have come from just that little nucleus right there, that one little summer. Man, you got Chin Young, who's with the Cowboys. You got
Mhm.
Cam Davis, who was on staff at A&M, is now assistant defensive line coach there for the Detroit Lions. You have Jeremy Springer, who was on staff, who was my teammate in college, but also was on staff at A&M, now the special teams coordinator at the New England Patriots. It's just, and we can go on for days. How many guys that have flourished from that we've met and continue to stay in contact. And just those relationships, man, are just meeting good people, man. I think that's the biggest piece. It's not always just about football and sports, but just meeting good people that's doing things the right way and having success. And the stories not being told, but just to be around successful people because you are the people you hang out with, and just being able to come in contact with more guys like that, man, it's been an absolute blessing.
Oh, no doubt, man. I second that. And just like you said, just from working the A&M camp one summer, how you just connect with so many great people, and just to see them flourish and shine. And I
Yes,
think that is a testament to the ability to want to be better, right?
yes,
So you think
yes,
about the
yes,
guys that were all involved in that were striving to be better personally, not just as coaches, but as men, right? Striving
without a
to
doubt.
put ourselves around great people that we can learn from. And I love how you talked about too earlier, not just ball, but how to be a great man, a husband, a father, all of those things. And it's really cool. I second that. It's really cool to see that journey. I just I've tracked you, followed your journey. Like I said, you've done some great things, man. What's some advice you may have for coaches that's looking to, maybe be in your shoes or, do some of the things achieve some of the things that you've been blessed to achieve in your career?
I think number one, man, you gotta be a sponge. You gotta be a sponge. You gotta soak things up. Me personally, how I learn through going through things. Like I gotta go through it. Like I gotta make some mistakes. I don't mind making mistakes because that's how I learn. And just kind of figuring out how you learn and how you go about it. If you're a person that takes a ton of notes and can read back through those notes and kind of get things going the right way, or whether you're an experienced guy like me, I got experience. I got to go through it, and I can learn even more. Just kind of figuring out what's your niche, how you go about it, and then I think the other thing is, man, you got to be you. You got to find out who you are, and you got to be unapologetically you, because at the end of the day, you'll feel comfortable when you lay your head down at night. You'll feel comfortable with your interactions, with how you impact kids. And those that you work with. I try to tell myself all the time, man, be you, be you and enjoy being you because there's only one of me. And so I can only be me. So that's the advice I would give to the young guys. Don't try to fit into a cookie cutter and try to, obviously you want to imitate some of the things that the greats do, or those that are very successful. You want to
Hmm.
take some of those things, but understand you don't have to be exactly like them, but you can find those things that fit into who you are, that helps take you to another level.
I love that, man. So good. Let's hit on, like you've talked about, some people that have been great for you in your life and your career. You hit on like the learning piece of that. Let's hit on the importance of having mentors. Why do you feel that it's important for us to have mentors?
Man, I think having a mentor is huge. Like it's really huge because it kind of put things into perspective. Because once you get into like the coaching profession, when you look at it from that aspect, man, we coach because we want to impact kids, want to impact lives. But man, we from ultimate competitors. Like I don't know too many coaches that don't like to really compete. And so I think that when you're young, they always say it, man. When you're young, you see things through a different lens. Of once you get older, you get that experience. So to have
Yeah,
that mentor, man, they help put things back into perspective and say, it's not as bad as you think it is. Like the world is not crumbling down. This is
yeah,
just these are the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of a season, of a career, of a program that you're going to see and you're going to experience. I think just being able to have that mentor that you can call and say, "Hey, coach, here's what's going on. Like I got this situation XYZ. The kid did this. Have you ever experienced this? What were some of the things that you've done?" And just being able to do that and have those conversations, and then go back and still make your own decision because you got to live with it. But to be able to have that mentor that you can dial up and you can call, man, I got, like I said, Dennis Brandley. I got the Alvin Dotsons of the world. My brother, who's a head football coach at Jackie Atos School, Raphael Thomas. We ping ideas off each other. It doesn't have to be, it's still from a mentor aspect. Like we ping it back and forth. How that sound. And so a lot of guys that I can call on and I can lean on to kind of see, where I'm at and what I'm thinking is the right way, or if I need to change how I'm thinking.
it's good, man. One thing that came to my mind too, while I heard you talk about that, in coaching as a player and as a coach, there's sometimes we come across some things that we remember forever. Are there any stories that you may have, man, that stick out to you? Like, oh man, it's a good one. Like you have any
Man,
stories that come to mind for? Well, let me tell a story about you, and then that way
yeah,
you can think of a
yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I'll share this story about you. So man, we're working this man, I got the privilege of working this Texas A&M football camp, man. I'm excited. And I'm from Hearn, Texas, which is right by College Station. So I grew up there. I always wanted to play ball at Texas A&M. Wasn't good enough. But
yeah,
I always wanted to play ball at Texas A&M. And M. And every time I went to College Station, I went by the campus to see all the big buildings and all of this. So I'm a coach and I'm out here, working this camp. And man, and there's this cat out there, man. He got the juice, man. He is good. He getting
yeah,
them going. He live out
yeah.
there, and that's you. And man, he out there in front of the stretch line, getting them going. Man, they playing Aggie ball. I mean, and this cat is a competitor, like a little
Yeah,
kid. Dropped the ball, like, hey, come on, man. Like he coaching them up,
yeah,
but ended up winning the little league that we did. Just ultimate competitor. And man, I just wanted to make sure I share that story because that's one of you that I
yeah,
remembered from the camp, man. And those kind of things
yeah.
stick with you. You can be around people that are passionate about what they do. When you can be around
And
people that just love what they do, man.
yes, and it's funny that you tell that story because man, Cam, and I can't forget my boy Drake Thompson, who was also on staff at A and
Yeah,
M,
yeah,
who's
Dre, yeah,
who's at he's
yeah,
up in
Dre.
Detroit as well. He's
Yeah.
assistant defensive back coach. So him and Cam are together, and man, I cannot forget Cam. So I'm still good with those guys. They came down and played the Cowboys, and so man, went and talked to them before the game, after the game, and everything. And it's funny because Cam still tells that story about Aggie ball and being at that camp. And man, talking about this dude, he was telling my wife, man, this dude out here, he yelling at everybody going out. I say, man, I'm just out here fighting for my kids, man. And that was one of the best times, like just third grade guys. Every single kid was
Yeah,
locked
man.
in, and man, they just enjoyed it. So I appreciate that story because it was fun times. It was great times, and my
Good
stories that
times,
I
man.
have, man, with my coaches, it really comes down to basically just who they were as a person, like the Dennis Brandleys of the world. Like he was so ultra competitive and just laser focused all the time. And he's from Sunnyside. He from that sunny side part of Houston, Texas, and boys don't know it's tough. Like it's tough over in sunny side. So you got this chip on your shoulder the rest of your life. And so I never forget, man. We out at a practice one time, and one of my teammates, we in the huddle, and he kind of going through it, and one of my teammates said something to him. And he went off. He said, "You think you better than me? Ain't nobody on this field better than me." And he started, mind you, he has a state record. Like he went 13-1 in the 110 hurdles in
Wow.
high school. And so he's going off. And man, he went off so bad. My teammate never said another word the day after that. But man, it's crazy. But everybody absolutely loves Coach Brantley, man. Just to have that intensity, that focus, man. He look in your eyes, and one day we out, we going through what people nowadays they say, hey, we're gonna go through boot camp. It's a week long. Man, our whole off season was a boot camp, and so we
Yeah.
be out there, we circle up, and he hit the whistle. But and I'm saying this because I want you to understand like how his focus just in his competitors, everybody's just like, okay. So one day we circle up, we jog around the whole school. It used to be called an Indian run, but I call it a Native American run now. And so,
Yeah.
and so we going around the school, we come back and we circle up in front of the field house. Okay. And so we getting it in. And he says, all right, everybody move your feet. And everybody kind of looks at everybody looks at each other, and we're on concrete. We kind of on concrete. Everybody looks at each other. Well, okay, we doing this. Shoot, let's hit these up downs right here. But it was because we were just bought in. At that
Yeah.
point, man, we were just bought in to wanting to be great, man. We were coming off a 3-7 season. His first year of coaching, well, first year being a head coach in a situation he didn't expect himself in. And then, man, just his intention, his focus, and
Yeah.
his competitive drive, man, it just got us all going. We tell those stories to the day to as many times as we can, man. We tell those stories about Coach Brantley, man, very intense. And for him to hear those stories as we got older, he laughed. He was like, boy, back in the day, boy, I might have been crazy. He's like, nah, coach, you good. So man, it's a lot of good stories. Him and my other guy, Alvin Dotson, who's the head coach down at Warden High School. Man, that guy there he is one of the most kid loving and just downright hilarious guys that hold kids accountable. And man, I could tell stories on him on days, but I'm not gonna get on it. I just had to give him some flowers as well.
Man, that's awesome. It's so good to it's so good to hear that stuff too, man. I love how you talked about coaches passion for the game, when you're around people that have a passion and a love like that, it's infectious and contagious, right? And
Yeah,
it's so to me that tells me my story that I told about you at A&M. Like that's like
yeah,
it's that's where it come from.
yes,
It's
yeah,
contagious and that's what it's about. And so, man, that is just great for kids. That is great for communities. It's great for programs. It's great for the game. It's great for life,
right.
right? I mean, you think about, just having people in your life like that, it shows you that it's okay to be passionate and love it and have it mean something to you, right?
Yes, yes. Yes,
Man,
indeed.
so
You got to
good.
have it. Like you got to have that passion for it because like I said, the kids gonna see through it. Like the
Yeah,
kids gonna see
for
through
sure.
it. It's not something that you can fake. You can't fake the funk, as they like to
Come on,
say. And so
come on.
so you got to, as long as you genuine with it, man. Those kids will follow you. And it's on you to check and make sure you're leading them in the right direction.
Yeah,
Because they love that passion for it.
I love that too, man. Well, let's hit on this a little bit and then we'll close. You talked about it's on you. Um, I think too, in knowing now that we're on this side of it, in knowing where we came from, what we
Hmm.
got, um, man, hit on the importance of striving to be the best version of yourself so that you can give the best version of yourself. Hit on that a little bit.
Man, I think that's critical. That is critical. And one thing I try to do, man, I try to start each morning. Reading the Bible verse, kind of reading the devotional. every day going to work, man. Every morning. I try to start every morning off with some gospel. I'm a Christian man, so I try to start that to get my mind in the right mindset and kind of have it in that positive space. But understand that accountability can come from anywhere, man. One of the biggest person in my life that helped hold me accountable is my wife, man. I think she plays a major role in helping me continue to develop myself and who I am. I think that through self-assessment, as I coach, as I tell my kids something, I replay those words to myself, and then I ask myself, hey, am I doing the things that I'm expecting them to do? Am I modeling this behavior frequently? I can't tell you, hey, bring your energy every single day to practice, then I'm out here moping around. So I want to make sure I lead by example. When I tell them, hey, it's a blessing to do what we do, I can't say it's a blessing. I'm out here frowned up every day. I'm smiling all day, every day, no matter how hot, whatever practice is. I got to find some joy in it, because joy is something that people can't take from me. It's not based off of something that you're doing. That's just something that God gives you. So I just try to
Take them to
carry that
church,
joy
coach.
wherever I go. And my kids, man, they respond to that. And so again, just those self assessments, man. Understand accountability come from anywhere. I told my track coaches before we started season last year, I was like, hey man, understand like accountability comes from anywhere, including those kids. Like, kids sometimes they're afraid to say stuff, and sometimes they'll say stuff and think you don't hear it. But it's up to you to be able to process it and see, hey, maybe I am doing something wrong. Maybe I'm not bringing enough energy. Maybe I'm not holding them accountable enough, and maybe I can be pushing them harder. So just understand that accountability can come from anywhere. Do frequent self assessments daily, and just be the person that you expect your kids to be, that you're requesting them to be, that you're pushing them to be, and just kind of using that and understand that you're gonna make mistakes. You're not gonna be perfect, regardless. At the end of the day, no matter how hard you want to be the best that you can be, you're not going to be that guy every single day. But the key is to try and be better than you were the day before. So if you fell down and yesterday was a struggle, shoot, today we're going to stand on all 10, and we're gonna walk tall, and we're going to get it done today. And we're going to try to do that each and every day. And so I think that's the biggest piece that I try to do, and have been fortunate and blessed to be able to do it a little more consistent than not. And obviously, still got a lot more room to grow. Still got a lot more things to do, and a lot more people to impact.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. And those are some great gems. That's so true. I think in giving the effort to be the best version of yourself, that's where the greatness and the learning comes, because you're trying, man. And I rock with effort all day
Yeah.
long. We're gonna make mistakes. We're not perfect,
Yes.
like you said, but people see the effort, and
Yes.
man, and that goes that effort goes a long way.
Yes.
Especially when you make a mistake. I'm
Yes,
trying.
indeed.
you
Yes,
know,
indeed.
I'm
Yes,
trying.
indeed. And
Well,
that's
man,
and
go
I'm
ahead.
I'm glad you focused on effort, because like
Yeah.
coaching my quarterbacks and really my track kids too, but coaching my quarterbacks, man, I sit back and I think sometimes people may look and be like, man, he's never really yelling at these guys. He never really gets on them. And the only time I really yell is when it comes to effort. Like I tell them every day, like, man, listen, like you're gonna make a mistake. I want you to make a mistake. Otherwise, there's no reason for me to be here. You know, so you're gonna make it, but just make sure your effort is in the right place. If your effort is in the right place, it's my job to now coach and now make those tweaks and adjustments to help you be successful. But effort, man, effort, energy, those are things we control at all times. And so whatever you got to do to increase that, be able to have that. If you can keep those consistent on a daily basis, man, I think you'll be all right. I think you'll be okay.
And that's good. I want to share this one with you. I like early in my career, I operated in this manner, but I couldn't verbalize it, right? And then later in my career, I was processing some things, and I kind of adopted a SHG principle. And that was my rules, my position guys, my when I was a head powerlifting coach, like that was my rules. Show up, have a great attitude, give your all. Like, bro,
Yeah,
like be here,
yeah,
control. Let's have a good time working hard. Give me everything you got every
yeah,
day. and everything else
Yes.
gonna fall in line from there,
It
right?
will. It
You
will.
know?
It will. And I like that you said it because I have core values that we work with. We do it in our quarterback room. We have it in our
Yeah.
track program.
Yep.
And it came to me it was my first, I want to say my first year of coaching, man. And I coached baseball too. And my head baseball coach was Tyler Porter, who's now the head baseball coach at Marble Fall. Man,
Mm,
really great dude, really smart guy. And man, he brought some. And it was a lot of mental work that we did because baseball is a mental game. And we
mhm.
talked about our core values, and he presented Dash, and ever since he gave it to me, it stuck with me because it was like, man, that's me. I can never verbalize, who I am or what I do, but that's me. And so, and it stands for, and so I carry it today. It's in our program. You see my tweets for our program, stuff like that. When it says Dash, we're talking about discipline. We're talking about accountability. We're talking about selflessness, and we're talking about hard work. Those are four key aspects I feel that'll help you be successful, not only in athletics but also in life. So and and it's funny that I said the discipline. I'm sorry, just kind of venture off, but so when we first opened Marshall High School, our first head coach, James Johnson, he gave us a set of words we would go through, and here's the word, here's the definition. Anybody miss this definition, we up down and we push up position, whatever the case may be. And one of the ones was discipline. All right. And since then, it's always stuck with me. A pattern of controlled behavior aimed at perfecting mental toughness and moral character. So at any point in time, I can get that to anybody. You look it up, that's exactly what it's going to say. So those are the things. That's why discipline is huge because it's a pattern of controlled behavior. So you got to continually do it over and over, control that behavior. And so that kind of sets the pillar for the rest of the four. And like I said, accountability, being able to be held accountable by whoever, selflessness, man, caring about other people than just yourself, caring about them, and through servicing others, man, the Lord will bless you. And then just hard work, showing up each day and just putting in that work.
That's good, man. Thank you for sharing that, Coach. That's some that's another good gem. I knew it was gonna be. I should have warned them when we got on. It was gonna be hot. I should have warned them. But that's a great gem, man. Thanks for sharing that. But as we
No
close, I'd love
problem.
for you to get an opportunity to share with the audience, your social media so they can go follow you, check you out, and show you some love with all the amazing things you got going on, Coach.
And so I'm pretty active on the Twitter space or X, and it's at Coach JT II, and so it stands for the second. And man, if you follow me, I'm going to give you a lot of highlights of our program of our kids, man, because that's really what it's about. That's why I do this, impact the lives of young people. And then also from time to time, I just drop some knowledge, some things that's just kind of going through my head, just kind of, and sometimes you just put stuff out there because, it could be one person that it impacts that they read it and be like, man, I kind of needed that today. I didn't
Yeah,
know I needed, but I needed that. And so
yeah,
sometimes that's just kind of, I always got a lot of things that's on my mind, on my heart, man, that kind of keep me moving. And I just kind of want to get it out there. Sometimes it's free flowing. It's a lot. And then other times I just kind of reserve because I don't want to get too I don't want to seem like I just know it all or have
yeah.
all the answers, but I do want to be able to minister. I want to be able to minister to some young people, to some adults that may need it as well, and just kind of be a blessing to others.
Man, I appreciate that. And I'll just tell you, I believe that you can't get enough positivity in our world. I mean,
Yeah.
you just think about, I told people before, like I have a son, he's about to be a senior and, um, he has two great parents, he has great family, faith base, tried to pour into him, do everything that we can to help him be the best version of himself. um, we still want to make sure that he's around great people throughout his life.
Right.
In junior high, in high school, three of his coaches I coached them, so I know them. I know
Yes.
the character of men that they are. And it's still not enough. I still want them to be, involved. So
Yes.
I believe
Yes.
that you can't get enough positivity. You can't get enough being poured into with greatness, man. And so appreciate what you do, Coach, how you do what you do, man. And I wish you continued success.
I appreciate this time, this moment, this opportunity,
Yeah.
man. I love to shout out my family, my wife Sherelle,
Come
my
on.
daughter JL, my son Jaden, and my mom Lily Thomas, my dad James Thomas, man, they and my grandmothers, Willie Mae Durham and Archie Thomas, and so just all those that poured in and helped me become the man that I am today, man. And I'm just trying to make sure I make all my family proud with who I am and how I carry myself and what I'm able to do. So, I want to make sure my name open doors for my kids and for my nieces, my nephews, and for their kids. And so that's kind of how I go about it. And again, I just appreciate this moment, this
Yes,
opportunity. I
sir.
appreciate our relationship
Yeah.
and how we've been able to stay connected throughout the years. And like I say, man, you blow up, Shuaden. I love what you're doing. Keep doing great things and keep inspiring our youth and those adults that need some inspiration as well.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for being with me. Thanks for the kind words, and thank you guys for checking out this session. We'll see you next time. God bless.
Yes, sir.
Go get it.